Good evening, SportsZonians. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I am Mike Aglioloro. I am your host. This is Sports Zone. Come to you live like we do each and every week here via the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Radio Network. We got a good show for you tonight. We'll be joined by Dave Hastings and hopefully Erich in a matter of moments. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. The NBA Draft Lottery has just wrapped up, and we have our draft order, or at least the first 14 picks worth of the draft order. And the Knicks have gotten the number 3 pick in the NBA draft this year. Everybody wanted them to get the number 1 pick. They wanted them to get Zion Williamson, who, of course, is your consensus number 1 draft pick. That honor will be going to the New Orleans Pelicans, who had a 6% chance of getting the first overall draft pick. They wind up with the first pick. The teams that had the best chance of winning the draft lottery were the Knicks, the Cavaliers, and the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns get the 6th pick overall, and the Cavaliers get the 5th pick overall. The Bulls and the Hawks also had the greatest odds after that. The Bulls end up with the 7th pick in the draft, and the Hawks get the 8th pick in the draft. They will also be receiving the 10th overall pick in the draft from the Dallas Mavericks because of the Trae Young deal. Trae Young for Luka Doncic trade from last season. So you got that right there. And the Lakers end up with the 4th pick in the NBA draft. So your top 5 picks in the 2019 NBA draft will be the New Orleans Pelicans at 1, the Memphis Grizzlies at 2, the New York Knicks at 3, the Los Angeles Lakers at 4, and the Cleveland Cavaliers with the 5th overall draft pick. And with that, we will bring in Dave Hastings tonight after a 1-week absence. Dave, good to have you back, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Mike. I'm doing good. How are you holding up?
I'm all right. I'm going to be honest. I kind of went with the Joe Beningo train of thought in that I did not think the Knicks were going to get the first overall draft pick. I mean, if you had been listening to Beningo for the last few months, he kind of resigned himself back about 2-3 months ago that they were going to get the 5th pick in the draft. So I'm not entirely surprised by this. I got to be honest, everything I hear from Francesa, I'm okay with not getting Williamson. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I know Erich's going to kill me for that later. But
I mean, I'm sorry. I heard some of the comments Francesa had to say about Zion today. I don't agree with them. I think if the kid develops a jump shot, he's going to become one of the most dangerous players in the entire league.
But in all fairness, I feel like they said the same thing about Ben Simmons. And as great as Ben Simmons is, we're in his 3rd, 4th year right now. He hasn't developed a jump shot.
They also said the same thing about Giannis, and look at him.
He has not developed an outside shot. I can tell you that right now.
He's slowly developing an outside shot.
Yeah.
Either way, he's gotten better and better year in and year out, and now is basically an MVP candidate and led his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm just saying. I think Zion has that freakish athletic ability, and he's a humble kid, but he's a competitor, and he is the guy that will say, give me the ball, and I'm going to figure this out. Does he need to get better? Is there room for improvement? Yes, but he is the clear-cut, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, number 1 overall pick in this draft.
Well, I tell you this. First of all, nobody loves the Greek Freak more than I do. So I will give you what you say on that. He's still not great from the outside. I will say that. And I think with Williamson, Greek Freak is 6'11" with like an 8-foot wingspan. You know what Williamson has and everything, but at 6'8", I believe the side that's saying that he doesn't have a true position right now because he can't really play power forward in the NBA, banging with 6'10", 6'11" guys, and he's not going to be able to guard the wing guys. So listen, I'm not saying I flat out did not want him. It would be the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying I need to see it. I need to see it. That's
and
all
I
I'm
get
saying.
that, but when it's all said and done, that's a kid that you can build your franchise around. You can advertise him, you can promote him. He's going to put people in the seats, and when it's said and done, that's really what they want. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. So I mean, the dude is a monster. He probably should lose a little bit of weight, help him with his athleticism, but he can rebound for beastly for his size, and I think that when it's really all said and done, I genuinely think that Zion is going to be a guy that goes down and becomes a perennial All-Pro and, superstar and shoes. And I think he has all of that in him.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm not really going to argue with you too much on that. Like I said, I'm not really sold one way or another, so I'm kind of in the middle on that one. But I want to point out what Cousin David has just said in the chat room, because here's the thing. If the NBA was going to rig the draft, you really think they're giving the pick to the Pelicans? Like, really? I don't buy that. I think if it was rigged, you would have a better case if the Knicks got the pick or if the Lakers got the pick. You say the Pelicans, like, what? It's a consolation prize for the fact that they're about to lose Anthony Davis? I don't buy that. If you're going to rig the draft, you rig it so the guy with all the hype goes to one of the biggest markets in the country. You don't rig it so the guy can go to New Orleans.
Anyway, I think the draft, honestly, I just don't like how they do it. I think it should be how you finish record-wise, and it is what it is. But I get that, they're trying to figure out any way possible to avoid tanking. But NBA is about superstars, and if you can't get a superstar, then what do you got? Nothing. You got an average team that wins some games and, maybe makes the 8th seed and then is knocked out in the first round and get beat.
I hear you on that one. I mean, I don't have a problem with the whole go by record thing like that. I think the NBA, the whole basis of the draft lottery, was probably the best solution any sport has come up with to try to prevent tanking. But this idea, I don't believe this one bit. You really think this is keeping Anthony Davis in New Orleans?
I mean, I don't think your cousin's far off for thinking it.
I think that I've heard.
I mean, he would pair up very well with Anthony Davis. I mean, I don't think your cousin's crazy for that thought. But when it's all said and done, that's the same thing as people saying that if Zion gets to the Knicks, that Durant and Kyrie and all these other people are going to want to go there. And look, when it's all said and done, none of us have any idea what these guys think and what they actually want to do. None of us. Some of them want to chase the money. Some of them want to, chase the location. Some want to play with other superstars and chase the ring. I mean, every player's different. You just don't know what they think until they do what they're going to do. And then you're like, oh, okay, so what everybody else thought is wrong. What a surprise.
Well, I mean, fair enough. But as long as we're speculating, because that tends to be what we do on this show. We speculate. I want to speculate. I think that relationship is dead and buried. Like, I was listening to them on CBS Sports right before we came on. The relationship's over. They're filing the divorce papers. Look at everything that went on. The fact that the general manager lost his job over this whole thing. The fact that Davis's agent publicly announced that he wanted to trade out of there. He doesn't want to stay in New Orleans, in my opinion. Zion Williamson ain't going to do anything about it. I think you have a better chance. Because I was listening to the Michael Kay show yesterday because I didn't feel like listening to the Yankee game. Apparently, there's a belief around the league that one of the top 3 picks could be enough in a package to pry Anthony Davis loose from the Pelicans. I think you have a better chance of the Knicks using their 3rd overall draft pick to try to get Anthony Davis. I think that one has a better chance of happening.
I mean, look, I could see any of that happening because the Ja Morant and oh man, I keep forgetting his damn name. The other kid from Duke.
Oh, it's Cam Reddish or RJ Barrett.
But I mean, Barrett, thank you.
Mm.
But I mean, honestly, to me, it's one of those things where you just got to say to yourself, what do you want to do? Do you want to take your time or do you want to go at it aggressively? I mean, because if you think about it and you're hoping that and you're hoping that Davis going to the Knicks helps you get Durant and Kyrie Irving or whatever, like, all right, fine, that's your quick turnaround. But if you don't believe that, or you don't think that that's a guarantee to happen, then you take the slow route. You build through the draft. You try to get some solid free agents. You do what you got to do, and you build it up. But I mean, it's really a matter of how the Knicks want to handle it. There's no other way to say it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But he is here, folks. He is here. We've heard our thoughts, Steve. We've heard your thoughts. We've heard my thoughts on this. Erich Tressler is here, ladies and gentlemen. Erich, I know you've seen the results from the 2019 draft lottery. What are your thoughts, my friend?
This is this sucks as bad as the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, it really does. It is such a slow fucking build up for, like, meh. Like, third pick, meh. Like, what are you gonna do? Trade it for AD? That's about all it's really worth. Or draft RJ Barrett and live in the doldrums for another couple years. I mean, you really, meh. Like, the whole season of Game of Thrones, meh. You just burn everything to hell. None of it matters. Cersei just gets crushed by a building. Yeah, because that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, none of it matters. The third pick doesn't matter. Unless you turn it into the magical, whimsical AD, which I'm hoping the last episode of Game of Thrones is some magical episode that makes me go, oh, my God. And I hope I have that moment. I'll have that moment if they trade this pick and somehow get AD, because then I believe that they'll get Kyrie and KD, and that they'll put a solid team together that way. But that is such a pipe dream, just like the end of Game of Thrones. You want it to be so cool. You want it to be awesome, but it's all just a pipe dream. It's all going to suck, just like the last season has sucked.
But how do you really feel?
I mean, come on, seriously. The third pick, I mean, you maybe if you're lucky, John Morant slips to you. Other than that, you're looking at RJ Barrett solid. Could be pretty good. I don't know. Not anywhere near, oh, my God, you got to have this kid type talent. It's not worth it. I don't know. Unless you somehow get AD, it isn't worth it. This whole season was a big build-up for nothing. The whole tanking, the whole 14-win season was for bubkiss. And really, all you can do is try to sell New Orleans at this point of who somehow walked the fucking ass backwards into the first pick. Somehow you can maybe pitch to them like, hey, you could have the first and the third. You can get your Zion and Barrett, his running mate. You could either get that or you can get a John Morant, who's solid. Looks like he's going to be, an all-star for years to come. Maybe you want to pitch that third pick to him, but I don't know. It's all a pipe dream at this point. I don't want to believe it till I see it. It sucks. It sucks at this point. It's just more waiting and hoping and dreaming. I'm tired of hoping and dreaming with the Knicks. Done that my whole life. Done with it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, here's an interesting question, though, because we were kind of talking about that possibility before you came on. What would you pair with that number 3 pick to get Anthony Davis? Because you have to imagine one asset wouldn't be enough for Anthony Davis. Like, what on the Knicks roster would you be able to pair with that 3rd overall pick to get Anthony Davis? And Knox? You think that would be enough? Knox in the 3rd overall pick?
Yeah, why not? I mean, who else is offering better at this point? There's nobody out there that's going to offer him a higher pick. Grizzlies aren't getting in because he's not signing there. The Lakers can't offer anything better. So, I mean, why not? And if you listen to every expert out there, by the way, after the first 3 picks in this draft, there is a huge drop-off. It's like not even worth having a pick after that practically. So, I mean, at least they got in the top 3 where there's some value to it. It's just how do you pitch it to New Orleans to get them to take it? I'd give them whatever they want. It doesn't matter. If you're talking about signing KD and Kyrie and then trading for him, you can fill in the rest of the pieces around him. I'm good with that. I mean, I don't think that they'll end up trading a Mitchell Robinson, but you never know. But I think Knox should probably be involved in any deal. Yeah, and I mean, I think Dennis Smith Jr.'s got some talent too. So if they find a way to keep him, I think that it'd be a quick turnaround for the Knicks. Again, all pipe dream.
I feel like you kind of have to trade Mitchell Robinson in that, because where would you play him once you get Anthony Davis? They both basically play the same position. So maybe that would. Davis,
whatever you got to do to give up, but I'm fine with whatever package you want to put together. Actually, I could care less. I would prefer not to trade him. If he had to be a must in the deal, see ya.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, you think about it, they both play center, so it's not like you're going to put Davis has played power forward before, but I feel like he's more of a natural center. At least the way the NBA is right now, I feel like you'd rather have him at center than power forward. I don't know. Dave, what do you think?
I mean, look, bottom line is you put whatever package together you got to put together to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, if you're trying to sign Kyrie and trying to sign Durant, get whatever money off your books that you can so you have the money for them. Trade for Davis so you got the money to re-sign him. Put together a nice team for the next, 3 to 5 years and make a run at it.
I want to revisit a discussion that me and Erich had. I want to revisit a discussion that me and Erich had last week, very briefly here. I mean, it wasn't really a discussion. It was me saying it and Erich kind of screaming. But anyway, I still don't want Kyrie Irving on the Knicks. I look at him as a head case who's more problems than he's worth. Durant is going to get eaten alive by the New York media, but at the very least, he's one of the best players in the league, so you'll take that. Just give me Kyrie. Give me Kemba Walker. I'm sorry. Give me Kemba Walker. Dave, you didn't chime in on that.
Sorry, you're wrong on that. You're wrong.
I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. So, Dave, let's hear your opinions on this one.
I would take Kyrie over Kemba without putting any hesitation to it.
Boom.
Yeah, that's great. You got a boom. That's good. I'm still gonna feel the way I feel on that one. If he does come, all right, fine. But I just want it stated for the record. I think it's a bad idea putting those two in the New York market. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I'd rather have someone who's not a freaking head case who thinks the world is flat and can't handle a little criticism. I'd rather have Kemba. He just seems like the safer pick to me. But, what's funny to me, we talk about this. You have this kid in Dennis Smith Jr., who could be a legitimate star point guard. Why do you think the Knicks aren't rumored to be taking a shooting guard instead of a point guard, and you have Smith, the shooting guard, and Kevin Durant in the same lineup? Why Irving over any of the shooting
guards? Because Klay Thompson's not leaving. Because Klay Thompson's not leaving Golden State. I'm out on everybody else. If you're giving me one of those, if you're giving me half of the Splash Brothers, listen. I'll sign up for that instead of a Kyrie. But he's not leaving Golden State, so it's not even worth discussing. That's why.
Dave.
Well, I mean, who else is there outside of Klay?
I mean, in all fairness, it is a drop-off on the shooting guard market after him, unless you're moving Kawhi Leonard to shooting guard, and we know Kawhi and Durant probably ain't playing on the same team. But other than that, I think it's Middleton, and I can't even think of any of the other shooting guards.
Yeah, so, I mean, give me Kyrie over any of them.
All right. Fair enough. Does anybody have any final thoughts on this particular subject before we move over? Erich?
I mean, come on, Golden State or bust still, right? I mean, there's no chance. It's almost laughable them playing the Blazers, and it really doesn't matter who comes out of the East.
I'd rather have seen them play was it Utah? Denver? Denver. Yeah,
the only storyline worth really talking about is if somehow Steph breaks an ankle and Klay sprains his knee and, they lose this series with the Enes Kanter not being able to travel if Toronto won because he doesn't have a valid visa because Turkey I guess canceled his visa or his passport, and he can't travel. So it would be, how is he going to be able to travel? Is he going to be able to travel for any of those games? I mean, that storyline would probably be the most interesting in the finals, but there's no chance we're getting that.
Well, I'll tell you that you left something out. It's if Curry breaks an ankle, Clay, whatever you said, stubs his toe or whatever, and Draymond Green kicks somebody in the nuts. I will say this idea that the Trailblazers are going to have a chance because Durant is out is asinine. Even without Durant, I think they can. I think it might go to 6 games. I'll give it 6 games. But in the end, we all know the Warriors are winning this one. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no storylines that I'm looking at. I mean, other than the fact that I'm a big fan of the Greek Freak, so I'm rooting for him. Kawhi and what he did with that game-winning shot was pretty badass. And, outside of that, it's Golden State and nobody else when it's really said and done, unless, like you guys said, that the craziest amount of events happen that they basically can't, put a team on the court.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody have anything else sports-wise they would like to talk about this week? Because I think Erich kind of gave it away a little while ago, what we probably all want to talk about here. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up first, though? Dave, I'll start with you.
Kind of go back to something we talked about a couple weeks ago, and if you're not watching the NHL playoffs, you're missing out.
I said the same thing last week.
You did. Yep. Well, anybody
NHL playoffs have been fantastic, Dave. I back you up on that 100%. They've been way better than the NBA playoffs, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, can we talk about the choke job by Houston real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on. Game 6 in your building. Durant's out. This is your chance, your moment. You fall flat on your face. Come on.
Well, you want to talk about a choke job.
You held Curry scoreless in the first half.
Yeah, that's very true. But how about that Trailblazers Nuggets game where the Nuggets are up they're up double digits early on. Lillard has one of the worst games we've seen out of him in a while. And the Nuggets still blow the lead, and the Trailblazers winning in Game 7. I thought that was a pretty big choke job in their own right there. Jokic is going off doing everything he can in his power, and they still lose that game.
Look, I mean, I don't see how Houston blew the opportunity to at least win Game 6 and force a Game 7.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible. That's mind-blowing to me. And then, I mean, look, Denver, it's a young team. I mean, they're good, but they're still a young team, and I think they still have some development to go through, and I think you notice that as that game wore on, where Portland has some more playoff veteran guys, and CJ McCollum just doing things.
Yeah, I agree with that. McCollum definitely showed that he's for real. I've always had my doubts about him, but McCollum had a great game on Sunday, so I give him that. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything else?
Well, Jokic is just for real. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's gonna.
Oh yeah.
And I like what he said after the game. I like that he took the ownership of the loss. I like all that about him. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that kind of leadership. And I agree. I think Denver's going to be a good team down the road.
What did you guys think about Embiid after the 76ers lost to the Raptors?
He's immature to me. I'm not an Embiid fan.
Dave?
I mean, I get the emotion, and I personally like to see that from players. I thought what Marc Gasol did, when he saw him, was just proof of how much of a class act Gasol is.
He's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, when it's all said and done, Embiid talks all this crap, so you don't really feel as bad compared to, that guy on the bench you see that's, shedding tears after losing.
Absolutely. And I definitely agree with Erich. He's got a lot. He's got a long way to go in terms of maturity. I'll give you that one. All right. So if we got nothing else, let's talk a little bit about this last episode of Game of Thrones. Eric,
do we really have to though? I'm just gonna be honest. Can we talk Let me be honest. Do you really want to talk about it?
I kind of
good.
I know.
It really wasn't good. It wasn't any good. This whole season hasn't been any good.
Can I please talk for a second, please? I'd like to say this, and then you can say whatever the hell you want afterwards. It's okay. I'm not going to call this episode good. I'm not going to call it bad. I'm going to call this episode downright disturbing. Like, really, one of the most uncomfortable hours and a half of television I've ever watched in my entire life. At the beginning of this season, I always knew that if they turned Daenerys into the Mad Queen, I would not be happy about it because I really liked her character over the course of the series. You knew they were hinting at it last season, so it's not a big surprise. But the way they chose to represent her snap, to me, they recreate. I don't say this loosely or lightly or anything. They recreated 9/11 here. And it was, to me, just, like I said, just disturbing. I'm watching this with my mother, who I think is actually in the chat room. Hi, Mom. Oh, that is my mom. Yes, hi, Mom. And we both kind of felt the same way. We were horrified by what we were seeing here on the screen. And you can say what you want about the rest of it. The Cersei thing, yes, I would have liked to have seen her killed. Yes, everything. That whole thing. The fight between the Hound and the Mountain I thought was very well done. But that was really the only thing I liked about this episode. Eric, I do tend to agree with you that this season has been a disappointment, but to see that and the way they chose to portray it, I hope I never see anything like that again as long as I live. I really don't, because it brought back bad memories of 9/11. There's a heel turn, and then there's turning a character nuclear, and that's what they did there. So we've heard my thoughts. We've heard Eric's thoughts. Dave, what do you say about this?
I mean, look, all in all, guys, I actually enjoyed the episode. Am I disappointed in what the season's been? Yes, I agree with you guys on that. I had a higher expectation of it, but that's going to happen when you wait over 2 years for a TV show or something that you really genuinely like.
Well said.
Build it up higher than anything they could do.
Yep.
At the same time, I thought that they went overboard with her burning the city. I get it. She turned into the Mad Queen. And, I see that. I understand it. And when you look back on old episodes and old moments throughout the show, there are things that make that not as surprising.
Yeah.
But to have her continuously go like that and then to have it go, her start burning the city when she's basically locking eyes with Cersei and not just go burn that tower down. That would have been so satisfactory to me. Poor people that are inside the Red Keep, they die. She's fucked up for letting that happen, but she got her revenge on Cersei. That to me would have been the way to go about it. I liked the Clegane fight. I was a big fan of it. I thought the way it ended was badass. I think all in all, I enjoyed the episode. I thought when Grey Worm snapped, I thought that was insane. They lost their stuff, and I didn't want to see that happen, but it happened. And I thought when she burst through the wall, though, at first, and all the soldiers started walking in with Jon and, Grey Worm walking through the broken down wall, I'm like, that is badass. But then it went way too far. So I'm with you guys to a certain extent, but all in all, I'm accepting the fact that this is a TV show about fantasy and crazy things that have happened and dead armies and White Walkers and, for Christ's sakes, the show started with a couple, incest and then throwing a 8-year-old boy out of a window. If this throws you off on how far they can go, then I don't really feel like you've been paying too much attention to how far they can go.
Hear me out here.
Go ahead.
Hear me out here. I don't think they went too far. Here's what I'm gonna say. I think this was the coolest use of the dragons that they've had, and it was only one dragon.
This is what you wanted all season.
Hold on, wait. Hear me out. This is what I'm saying is The coolest aspects of this show, they use them in the worst ways. They tease you with everything. This entire show has just been one big F you to everybody who watches it. Every character you like along the way dies. Things happen that are absolutely horrific and terrible. Children burn, incest, rapings. There's just awful things that happen, and nothing good ever happens. That's the problem with this show. You keep hoping for a glimmer of good. You're like Arya. I don't understand this girl either. She marches her way all the way down from the north. She stabs that Night King real good now. She gets on her horse. She rides all the way down with the hound. I'm going to kill Cersei. I'm here to kill Cersei. Literally tells the guy at the gate, I'm here to kill Cersei. They laugh about it and ride past him. Nobody stops her. She gets into the Red Keep. She's like 3 floors below Cersei, and the hound turns to her and goes, "Kid, you don't want to go any further. Just turn around and go home now. You don't want this. This is my life. It's not your life. Don't do this." And she's just like, "Oh, okay. No problem." Turns around and walks out. I got a problem with that.
I completely agree with that.
I got a big problem with that.
I completely agree with that.
I actually liked that moment between her and the hound. I thought that was
no.
Sweet. I liked that
she's
moment.
Supposed to steal Jaime's face and then murder Cersei. That is what is supposed to happen. But instead, they give you the big F.U. because nobody even kills Cersei. A building falls on her while she's holding her incest brother tightly, who's now magically got his second arm back. Because they've done so
that was Photoshop.
So good attention to detail here.
That was
They've been
Photoshop.
so good with attention to detail.
That's not legit. That was Photoshopped. Just want to point that out. Nobody saw that.
I don't know about that.
Nobody saw that in the actual episode. Someone Photoshopped that. Just want that known. So, but I'll say this. The only thing I was trying to say, Eric, I wasn't trying to cut you off at that one point. I just wanted to say, technically, you wanted to see this. You wanted to see the dragon cut loose. And the idea that horrible things happen on the show, so that's what everybody loved about this show for 7 seasons. But in my opinion, and Dave, to go back to something you said, I only think they took it a little too far with the fact that it brought back memories of 9/11 and seeing this whole thing happen like that. Just replace the planes for the dragons, and that's the image you got from me. And that disturbed me. I don't think it's out of context for the show, and you're right. If you think it's really whatever you said, you haven't been paying attention. I get all that. What you said about if she had gone straight to the Red Keep and straight to Cersei, well said, sir. Well said, sir, on that.
Hold on, wait, but then we didn't even talk about her steed after she somehow runs out quiet and scared. This is supposed to be a ninja assassin who snuck up on the Night King. She can't even get out of the city. Buildings are falling on everybody. Everybody else dies. She somehow not only survives, but it finds the one horse that must be still alive too, with the perfectly maned hair, the stallion off it into the sunset. I don't understand this. There's so much wrong with this. So much. I don't understand it. The guy stood on the swords. I don't understand why, I get why she went all mad green and started burning everybody. But everybody else who wasn't battling, just stop battling. If she wants to go crazy, let her go crazy. Run the hell away is what you should have done.
Well, in all fairness, Jon Snow was trying to do that, but the Lannister soldiers kept attacking. So that's the only time Jon Snow was killing the Lannisters, when they came after him. I give you this, though. Grey Worm going nuts was understandable. That was absolutely understandable. Even Daenerys going nuts is somewhat understandable. I didn't want to see her go Mad Queen, man. Did not want to see her go Mad Queen. I never wanted to see her go Mad Queen.
Well, they even threw out even showed you some explosions of wildfire blowing up while she was doing it. And
yep.
You got to keep, that's some symbolism right there that shows you there's still wildfire underneath the city.
Right.
So, there's comment. They were getting a point across, and I agreed. Did I want to see it? No. She was my favorite character up until, Jon Snow came back from the dead, and I'm like, all right, well, how can you not read it now? So, it is what it is, though. Look, Well, like I said before, it's a fantasy show. It's off the wall. There's going to be holes. I mean, come on. I loved Endgame, but the time travel shit was pretty much off the fucking wall. But I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. I let it do the story. And, yeah, there are some major holes. And, Eric, you threw out some perfect moments, like the horse just being there. It's like Arya's like, just like, okay, yeah, I'll leave. Like, you know, I've waited my whole life to murder this woman. I say her name every night before I go to bed. But no, I'm just going to go because I have just as good a chance of dying in this crumbling building as I do is dying running around the streets of crumbling buildings in a dragon breathing fire. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, no matter which way she went, she was going to face death. Like, screw it. Go take out her, die by the hand of the mountain. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see her kill Cersei. The mountain kills her and gives to, you know, to gain more motivation to try and kill his brother. And they have some great battle. Though I did like how they cut the scenes back and forth. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was intense. That was intense. That was pretty well done. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I thought that was good production. But, yeah, there's major holes in this episode. There's major holes in this entire season. And the bottom line is they screwed themselves by saying, you know what, we're only going to do 13 more episodes, and we're going to put 2 years in between at the halfway mark. Like, that's really, to me, where they went wrong. It's not what you're watching just this season. It's the decision and how they went about it. They literally have rushed 6 years worth of stuff to a 13 episode season, 2 seasons that have taken almost 3.5 years, 4 years to do.
Well, I'll say this: I don't agree that this season's been rushed though. Because I feel like they've gotten to everything they were supposed to get to. It's like you say it's rushed. How many more storylines do they really have to tie up in the last episode? I don't think it's really as many as everybody kind of makes it out to be. But maybe I'm by myself on that. This last season hasn't felt rushed to me. It's been mildly disappointing. I'll definitely say that one. This last episode, I'm probably never going to rewatch again as long as I live. But I don't know if I agree with the rush. I don't. But we got about 3 minutes left. Dave, by the way, if you want me to explain to you those time travel holes in Endgame, I'd be more than happy to do that to you. I can explain every one of those holes. I can do that. I've seen that movie a whole bunch of times. Anyway, we got about 2 minutes left here. I want to thank everybody for listening. Let's do some final thoughts here. Dave Hastings.
I mean, always a pleasure. Shout out to your mom being in the chat room. That's really cool. I hope she enjoyed herself and we didn't slip up too much with any foul language. If we do, my apologies.
I'm sure she got a kick out of this. I know she listened just to hear us talk about Game of Thrones. So.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Other than that, man, sorry I missed last week, but glad to be back this week.
Hey, of course, man. Of course. Glad to have you. Erich Wrestling.
Game of Thrones sucks. The Knicks watch the NHL playoffs. Watch, a lot of other sports, a lot of other good stuff. Baseball going on. Yankees and Mets been rained out, I believe. Are Mets at home too? Are they rained out as well?
No, they were playing. They were up 5-2 when the show started.
Oh, never mind. All right, so that's just the Yankees getting rained out.
Yeah.
Other than that,
What's
another
that?
major
what
this
was
weekend.
That? Another major this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Is that the U.S. Open or the PGA?
PGA.
Okay. By the way, just so it knows, my mom is in the chat right now. She said loved it, rant on. So Eric, I think she got a kick out of what you said. I think she liked it. So, all right.
So many holes.
I'm sure.
All right, real quick. Tiger in the top 10 in this major or not top 10? Over under.
I'm gonna say.
Oh, easily. I'm going over. I'm going. He's in the top 10. He's in.
I'm gonna be the oddball. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say he's not in the top 10. Narrowly misses it.
I'm gonna say he's played it safe and cool since he won that major. More confident going into it, and I like Tiger's chances. So I'm gonna take that in the top 10 as well. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in real quick.
No, that's fine. We had the time. With that, we're going to say goodnight for Dave Hastings and Erich Tressler. I am Mike Aguilera. Cousin David, as always, thank you for listening, too. Thank everybody for listening. We will see y'all next week.